The morning light came in through the kitchen window the way it always did. Soft, unhurried, like it had no idea what kind of day it was about to become. I stood at the bathroom sink for a long time, just staring at the small white stick in my hand. My fingers weren't shaking. I thought they would be. After everything we had been through, I honestly thought my entire body would fall apart in that moment. But I was completely still. Still in a way I hadn't been in years. My name is Claire. I'm 34 years old. I live in a small house on the edge of Portland, Oregon with my husband Daniel, our golden retriever named Scout, and about 6 years of memories that carry equal parts laughter and grief. Daniel is the kind of man who fixes things. Not just broken shelves or leaking faucets, but broken silences, broken evenings, broken versions of me. He's the person who, when I cry, doesn't immediately try to solve anything. He just sits with me. He always knew that sometimes sitting together in the dark is more healing than switching on any light. We got married when I was 27. We waited 2 years before we decided to try for a baby. We were practical, grounded people. We had a plan. Life, as it turned out, had absolutely no interest in our plan. The first time I got pregnant, we were so happy we couldn't sleep. Daniel stayed up all night reading baby name books. I remember laughing at him, this big, broad-shouldered man sitting cross-legged on our bed at 2 a.m, whispering names out loud like he was testing how they felt in the air. We lost that baby at 9 weeks. The doctor called it a missed miscarriage. I called it the first time I truly understood what loss felt like from the inside. The second pregnancy lasted 11 weeks. We had seen a heartbeat on the ultrasound screen, this tiny, impossible flicker. We told our parents. We let ourselves believe. And then one morning I woke up and something was wrong. And by the afternoon, it wasn't a pregnancy anymore. It was just something that had happened to us. The third time we didn't tell anyone. We barely spoke about it to each other. I think we were both so afraid of the hope. There's a particular kind of loneliness in trying to protect yourself from something you desperately want. We lost that one too at 7 weeks. After that, the doctors ran tests. Everything came back normal, which is the cruelest kind of answer medicine can give you. There's nothing wrong with either of you. We just don't know why this keeps happening. They gave it a name, recurrent pregnancy loss. They gave us a referral to a specialist. They gave us statistics. None of it helped. Statistics don't hold you while you cry. What I didn't tell Daniel, what I didn't tell anyone, was that I had also started having other symptoms. Around that time, fatigue that went beyond sadness, a lump I'd found one night, small and hidden, that I kept telling myself was nothing. I ignored it for 4 months because I was already carrying so much, and I didn't think I could carry one more thing. When I finally went to see my doctor, she scheduled a biopsy immediately. Her face told me what she wasn't saying out loud yet. I got those results on a Tuesday. I sat in the parking lot of the medical center for 45 minutes before I could drive home. Stage 2 breast cancer. Treatable, the doctor said. Caught early enough. With the right protocol, the odds were good. She said words like chemotherapy and surgery and survival rate, and I heard all of them. But what I kept thinking, sitting in that car, was I need to tell Daniel. And I don't know how. But here's the part nobody saw coming. Not even me. That same morning, before I had gone to the doctor for my results, I had taken a pregnancy test almost out of habit. We were still trying, still holding on to that fragile thread. I had taken so many of these tests over the years that the act itself had become mechanical, almost emotionless. I didn't expect anything. I had stopped expecting things. It was positive. Not faintly positive, clearly, undeniably positive. I sat on the bathroom floor for a while. Then I put both results in my bag, the pregnancy test and the folded piece of paper, from the doctor's office, and I drove to get Daniel's results, and then I drove home. Daniel was in the backyard when I got there, doing something with the garden he'd started last spring. He was wearing that old gray sweatshirt, with the small tear near the collar, that I had tried to throw away 3 times, and he kept rescuing from the donation bag. He looked up when he heard the back door open, and he must have seen something in my face, because he immediately put down what he was holding and walked toward me. "Hey," he said. "What happened?" I didn't say anything at first. I took the pregnancy test out of my bag and held it out to him. He looked at it. He looked at my face. He looked at it again. And then Daniel, my husband, This steady, unshakable man who I had watched hold himself together through 3 losses without ever once falling apart in front of me, sat down on the kitchen floor. Not slowly, not gracefully. He just went down like something in his legs simply stopped working. He sat there on the tile with his back against the cabinet, and he put his face in his hands, and he cried in a way I had never seen him cry before. Deep, heaving, almost silent sobs. His shoulders shook. Scout came over and pushed his nose into Daniel's arm and just stayed there. I crouched down next to him. I didn't say anything. I just put my hand on his back. After a while, he looked up at me, eyes red, and said, "Is this real?" "It's real," I said. He let out a long breath and pulled me into him. And we sat on the kitchen floor together for a long time. Scout lay across both of our feet. Then I told him the rest. I told him about the lump I had found, about the months I had said nothing, about the biopsy and the parking lot, and the 45 minutes I had spent staring at the steering wheel. I told him about stage 2 and treatable and the odds being good. I told him all of it, and when I was done, I watched his face go through about 12 different things in the space of 30 seconds. He didn't say I should have told him sooner. He didn't say anything like that at all. What he said was, "Okay, we're going to figure this out. You and me, we're going to figure this out." The weeks that followed were the hardest and strangest of my life. My oncologist and my OB had long conversations about the safest path forward. There were options, none of them simple. Surgery could wait until after the first trimester. Certain treatments could be modified. Every decision felt enormous and fragile and irreversible. Daniel came to every appointment. He took notes. He asked questions I wouldn't have thought to ask. He built a binder, an actual physical binder with tabs and printed articles, because that is who he is. And seeing that binder on our kitchen table made me love him in a way that doesn't have a name. I had a surgery at 14 weeks. I started a modified treatment protocol at 16. I threw up almost every morning. My hair started coming out in late October, which Daniel handled by shaving his own head one Saturday without telling me, and then just appearing in the doorway of the bedroom with his newly bare head, raising his eyebrows like he was waiting to see if I'd laugh. I laughed. I cried too. Then I laughed again. The pregnancy continued, against the fear, against the treatment, against every odd that had ever been stacked against us. This baby held on. She was born in March, 6 days before her due date, at 6 pounds and 4 ounces, with dark hair and a face that scrunched up immediately with great displeasure at the cold air. Daniel cut the cord and then stood at the side of the delivery room with his hand over his mouth, unable to move or speak for almost a full minute. The nurses smiled at him like they had seen this before. I don't think they had seen exactly this. We named her Marin. 8 months after she was born, I got the scan results that my oncologist had been cautiously working toward. No evidence of active disease. She used those exact words. And I wrote them down in my phone because I needed to see them in text, needed to make them real in a different way than just sound. No evidence of active disease. I called Daniel from the parking lot. He picked up on the first ring. "It's clear," I said. There was a pause. Then he said very quietly, "Okay." Just that one word. But I know my husband, and I know what that one word was holding inside it. I know the weight of it, the years of it. I sat in that parking lot for a little while, like I had once sat in a different parking lot with entirely different news. And I thought about how strange it is, the way life refuses to be only one thing at a time. The joy and the terror arriving together, the grief and the hope sharing the same morning. The way a man can sit down on a kitchen floor and somehow, in that falling, hold everything. I drove home. Daniel was in the front yard with Marin, who was sitting in the grass pulling at it with great concentration. Scout was lying nearby, watching her the way he watched all of us with a steady, uncomplicated loyalty. I parked the car and walked across the yard, and sat down in the grass next to both of them. Daniel looked at me. He didn't need to ask. He could already see it on my face. He reached over and took my hand, and we sat there in the March sunlight, the 4 of us, while Marin continued her very important work with the grass, and Scout sighed contentedly, and the afternoon went on the way. Afternoons do when they don't know they're supposed to be extraordinary. But this one absolutely was.